If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And tonight is going to be a fun one, but before I introduce my guests and talk about that topic, I want to remind you all that our annual WoT song parody contest is coming up soon. You'll be hearing from Lauren, John, and I shortly about the contest, all the rules, what it's going to take to get into it and submit your parody. We can't wait to actually judge those again and find our next winner. If you have no idea what the WoT song parody is, or challenge is, go check those out on here at the Dusty Wheel. You can kind of go see the last three that we did all about that last year. Wasn't it like, I think it was like we had, maybe it was just a semi and a final. It might have just been two. But we're thinking about maybe doing 3 shows this year, just depending on how many of you sign up. But that's all you needed to talk about for news. We may do an episode on Friday. Keep on the lookout for that. But tonight is all we're talking about the news from the last 2.5 years. What it was like to cover season 1 of the Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. And to do that with me are 5 individuals who have been covering it daily since then. So let me welcome them to the show. Welcome, I have to name you, Joe from Talkaronrad in our top left up there. Next to Joe is John from WoT Up. Then down, I guess, underneath there, John, we have Sara from WoTSeries. Over to Sara's right, we have Geekyeri. And then we have Jen from Talkaronrad. I feel bad. I should have you guys wave, do double hand waves or whatever. Thank you all for being here. You all been. It's fun to get your faces out here. John, I guess you're on camera all the time. But
unfortunately, yes, people have to look at this.
We don't get to see Geekyeri that often. So Geekyeri, thank you very much for being here. I guess are we seeing Geekyeri though? That's the question.
Definitely her real face.
That is 100% how she looks in real life.
I love it. Okay, so tonight, for those of you kind of wondering, I wanted to do a little bit of behind the scenes. I've been kind of cajoling my guests here about sharing some of the interesting secrets, rumors, news that they kind of had either in their possession or got to release. I mean, obviously, WoTSeries and WoT Up, you guys are breaking news all the time. And then I have a couple stories to talk about that it should be fun. So we'll open the call lines probably in about half an hour. We'll look for questions in chat. But let's jump into this. Here, John, you've been covering this, I think, since October 2019?
Yes, 2 years last October. Yeah.
Okay, so what has been your favorite piece of news that you broke?
My favorite piece of news that I broke? Yeah. It's a tie between Uno, Elaine, and Lucer.
Yeah, those are... So I want to understand, and for those who are watching, how long did you have each of those before you actually broke them?
Elaine was a couple of weeks, Uno was probably maybe a month or 6 weeks. Loose Theron was like 4 months, 5 months.
Loose Theron, you knew for 4 or 5 months. Oh my gosh. Awesome. What's that like, I guess? What was that experience like, knowing that and not speaking about it and actually not being able to have these conversations with fans?
Super empowering. So much better than it. It's pretty cool. I mean, I love knowing things before, like I'm the person that would get scripts for movies and stuff off like 4chan. Don't ever go to 4chan. But but you know what I mean? Like I would find stuff like that, and it would make the experience for the movie or the show or whatever I liked far better for me, because I like knowing things beforehand so I can dissect it and know about it. And with the Wheel of Time show, it was the same thing. I just, even if I didn't do my YouTube channel, I would do this on my own anyway, because it would be fun.
Yeah, that is the difference between you and I. I'm like, I don't want to know all the details, and you're like, give me more details. I get it. It's weird because I love it. I have to cover the stuff that you all break as far as news. So basically, I'm at the mercy of whatever you all kind of end up telling us about, which is fun. I mean, Geekyeri and Sara, WoTSeries has become synonymous with Wheel of Time news and breaking Wheel of Time news. What's been some of the kind of highlights as far as, information that you've found, vetted, and released?
I'll let Sara go first.
Oh, great. Okay. In terms of stuff we've released, I think the Jordan Studios one was really fun, not necessarily because it was like super groundbreaking news or anything, but just because the process of finding it was so much fun. We had that one for, oh gosh, it was like a year or something before we actually wrote about it. We weren't really we didn't really have much of a reason after a certain point. We just kind of kept putting it off. That one was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Geekyeri is Jordan Studios for a year. Can you beat that? Was there a piece of news that you loved that you found and that you broke?
She stole my answer.
You let me go first.
That's true. That's my fault. But that was the first thing that popped in my head, just because together we were like, oh my gosh, let's compare in the background of this person's photo from this day, and it totally lines up with this marking on the ground and Google Maps, and it was super fun just to put that all together. I think maybe aside from that, discovering about the Spain actors was pretty exciting. That was another one of those cases where I'm just like contacting them. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, come in here right now.
Right, we've had a few of those, like everyone pings, like, oh my god, everyone get in here and look at that.
That's I love this. I think Hedsky just said this. Let's see if I can find this comment. Maybe I don't have it up here. I thought it was Hedsky that just said this, but it was like, oh no, it's Silvertooth. Let me throw this comment up. Here we go. Silvertooth said, here I was just assuming you guys told us your news right away. There you go. Like it's a funny kind of process of what you go through. Maybe you speak to that, John. Like you get some breaking news. Like what is your process like as far as, vetting it, making sure it's legit before you just kind of chuck it out there?
I want to preface this by saying I'm not a reporter. I'm just a regular dude doing this in his dining room. But for me, I want to make sure I'm right. So I get a lot of stuff from a lot of different people, and a lot of it ends up being completely correct. But I can't get too excited when they give it to me, because if I can't verify it with a couple of other sources, at least two, then I don't go with it at all. Because I mean, the moment I say this is going to happen and it doesn't, then no one will believe me anymore, because I obviously can't reveal who tells me stuff or when they tell me stuff or why, mainly because they can get troubles sometimes. So I would never, ever speak to that. So if I say something wrong, I don't have someone who told me to back it up. I always try to verify it. And there are things that I never could verify that I obviously never would have released that end up becoming true. And I'm like, oh, darn, that would have been cool. But
Yeah, that is, I guess, the little bit of danger for you and your channel. You want that believability and trust aspect. Although I just saw Roger said, "Well done, panelists. We hate you now." No, this is the fun part about learning these things. I mean, for you, Joe and Jen, you cover this kind of like I do in many ways, more often than breaking news, covering this daily as soon as stuff comes out. What's a day in the life like of someone who, talker on Riyadh? Like, what do you? I see you guys interacting all the time. You're covering. You guys know all of the news that's broken on a weekly basis. Yeah, what's that like so people understand how much time is involved in this?
Well, the WoTSeries and John make it really easy. We just follow them and see what they're doing.
I think
I'm not even kidding. And back in the day, Narg was a good another source that we used to follow a lot as well. So go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say quick that in the beginning of our show, we used to say like we had we'll put the research team on it. We'll get the research team, and eventually we're like, we have to stop saying that because it's just WoTSeries and WoT Up or our research team. Like, we have to start giving them credit. Like,
well, I remember when I first started listening to you guys, which was I don't know, like December 2019 or January 2020 or somewhere right around the beginning. And you would talk about this research team, and I'm like, who are these people? Like, I want to know who they are so we can like compare notes. And it's so funny to me.
Well, that was funny because I think I had listened to one of your episodes really, really early. It was about Teleron Riyadh, and in that episode afterwards, you were like, well, we did talk to our research department about how they messed whatever. Yeah. We didn't look into that. And I was like, that sounds like they don't have a research department. So
no,
they go into.
Yeah,
by the way,
that was a good joke in the beginning. Yeah, but yeah, that's what we do. We were literally just Geekyeri. We'd see if she tweeted anything on Twitter. We'd check if WoTSeries came out with any articles. We'd watch John. John would break as soon as a piece of news came out. John would have a video out that night. So he was always coming out with videos right away. So we know, like, okay, let's check these accounts and see what's going on if we missed anything. Sometimes, like, right up until the very beginning of like recording, we would like, oh, somebody just posted a tweet or they just dropped an article. So it was just really looking around, following the right people, and making sure that we're keeping and taking notes too. I'm like a big note taker, so anytime I would get a piece of news or see something, I would copy a link to it and put it in my notes, so that way when we had it was showtime, we could review it, and Jen and Tom would be like, all right, what news we got this week, and I'd post all the links, and I'd be like, this is what we're going to talk about.
Yes, it was funny is you say that I use you guys. That's the funny part. Is I'm like, if I have to go listen to all of WoT Up's and read all of WoTSeries stuff, why don't I just go listen to Talk Around Riyadh's latest podcast, and then I know what I can cover. Like that's how this works for me at least. I did get asked this question. Let's show Wild Gardenia's question up here. Has Amazon or Rafe ever been upset about a leak? So have any of you heard through the grapevine that people are upset about some of the news that leaks?
Well, we know not anybody here is leaked, but I know of a couple of leaks that Amazon was definitely not happy about, right? Where there was an extra who was fired, right?
Oh, right.
From a YouTube channel that did an interview. I know they're not, I know Narg and Amazon weren't too on friendly terms. So I know that for sure.
The person who took the picture of the Waygate wasn't in the
that
somebody.
That poor woman who took the Waygate picture.
Yeah, those are poor friends. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Never found again.
Wow, that was dark.
Lost in the waves.
Okay, Eben just asked in chat, do any of you know Landfear's boot design yet? You're just not releasing it. No.
Obviously, we have a very long article coming up on
on boot design. So I asked everyone before we began in a poll here, because everyone demands now that I start the show with a pre-show poll. Who's your favorite WoT news source? And I don't want to break anyone's heart here, but 35% said WoT Up, 4% said Talk Around Riyadh, 10% said WoTSeries, and 51% said all of the above.
So the last one doesn't count.
Okay.
So John, if you add those up, that's like 80% you.
Exactly. So there you go. That's if you feel like I can get you names of the people in chat if you need those. Anyone that feels slighted. Matt
knows everyone who voted, and he's going to share that with us.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
He's doxing them all.
That's right. Shane said, "Do you have any nervous tics that show when you aren't giving us all you know, asking for for a friend. Is there any like tip that they can follow of like you're kind of suggesting maybe there's more to be had here, but you're not kind of outright saying it?
I tug my beard. No,
Is that what
I don't have none that I'm aware of.
I don't know. I'd have to ask somebody else if I have one.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so let's kind of now get maybe a bit deeper into this. Are there any secrets out there and it could be like, for example, news that was released, but you were holding it because you weren't sure about it? Or is there something that's kind of like time's passed and it doesn't matter and you are willing to kind of share it with fans that are listening right now of stuff you found out?
Who wants to go first?
Like, everyone's like,
I got a list. I mean, no.
John's ready to throw something up. Anybody else want to throw something up first?
Gary, do you want to do one?
I can't think of anything.
So I can tell one, but this isn't like a huge secret. But it's a fun one. Geekyeri and I initially, I can't remember what was the project we started on. Like, I think I reached out to you because you had gotten information, or I had gotten information. You reached out to me, but there was something where we started looking into like maybe it was like social media for cast members. I don't remember what it was, but we got in contact with each other about some particular news project that we were working on. Well, I think it was back in 2019. And so when I unblurred or was working on unblurring the script, I had mentioned that there were people that were helping me, and I can tell you that Geekyeri and Sara were two people that helped unblur those scripts. I can't explain to you how many things that Sara guessed correctly. Like, she would just random be like, "That looks like the word chest or something," and I'd be like, "What? That's ridiculous." And it was,
I don't remember that, but
so yeah. And then Geekyeri would do the same thing. So they were both instrumental in helping me out there. So it wasn't just me. So yes, congratulations to both of you. Thank you very much for helping unblur that script. Okay, John, let me go to you since I'm getting some shy reactions from others. Is there something yeah? Go for it.
What do you want to know? No. So cutting of Camelin, I knew that probably, I want to say while they were filming episode 5. So during the time they filmed it, I got set pictures, set video from multiple people, scripts. I had a full script for the episode. I had side scripts, which are generally given to extras. I had call sheets. So I knew, I knew all of this. And I looked at it, I'm like, this is amazing. I'm going to tell everyone. And then I thought about it for a bit, and I realized that maybe I probably shouldn't say something this big, because it was such a big change, and we all see how the small changes worked out up to this point. And I talked to a couple of people that ended up becoming friends of mine that work for the show, and they kind of counseled me, well, maybe you shouldn't, like kind of hold it. And for months and months and months, somebody would say something, well, like, oh, I can't wait to see Caitlin. I'm like, just stop, or I'd be asked the question. So how are the waves going to look in Caitlin? Or like, I can't wait to, like, you're going to see Gowan. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But that was probably the first big piece of news that I got that I'd never shared. And that kind of set the stage for a lot of other things I got that somebody would give it to me and say, don't share this. And I go, okay, I won't share it. Thanks for sharing with me though. And it's, to be fair, that's part of the reason why I do the channel anyway. I enjoy getting stuff early, but that was the first, I think, and probably one of the hardest to hold back, because as time went on and people got more and more used to the idea that it was probably going to be Tarvalon, especially after the pictures get leaked and there was a lot of talk and maybe Camelin was going to be around. I felt more and more comfortable to talk about it, but I still couldn't outright say I know for sure. Just like, it's pretty likely due to things we've seen. I think
this probably answers the question then, from Sherry, what keeps you from releasing information? It seemed like part of what you were saying was, people have asked you to kind of keep it private.
So if anyone asks me to not say anything, I won't. If I feel like it might be taken out of context, I won't, if that makes any sense, because sometimes, like, for example, there's a lot of big changes in season 1. And if someone new a small snippet of them without the whole story, it could go badly. It could track badly, which is not great. I just try to be as ethical, I guess, is the best way to put it. Like there's things I could put out there that would get a lot of views or likes, or people enjoy it or talk about it or whatever, but it may not be the best for the show or best for the people who give it to me or best for actors and actresses or people who work in the set or whatever, because it includes them. And I make the decision based on either them asking me not to, or I think it might not be great.
Yeah, no, that's good. For you, WoTSeries, is there often information that just kind of comes your way, and is there ever a concern maybe someone's trying to use, like, trying to get news out there, for, has an agenda per se, if you will, what is for you the process behind determining something that is, you should release or shouldn't?
Well, I wish people gave us stuff, but we don't have any context. So anything we find is stuff that we've been able to dig up that's publicly accessible, basically. So I think one thing that's great about working as a group is we can ask each other, okay, is this what do you guys think? Is it okay to release? Because we don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Yeah.
I think that's number one, is we don't want to get anybody in trouble. This is a fun hobby for us, but it's other people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, always the number one thing in the back of our head.
What I think is fun about what you just said was it's all publicly accessible, which means that somebody made it. You just happen to be really good sleuths, and that's what I think we love about it. Is like
a lot of stuff is just from social media, and we've built up kind of a way to find stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that we've seen, like a set photo, and we're like, well, we just can't release that because it's gonna be really easy to figure out who took it, and we don't want to get them in trouble. So
yeah, so you have like photos every once in a while, and you're like, oh,
yeah. Right, it's not like there's tons of them, but there's definitely been a number of things that we've just decided there was really no way we could talk about it, and it wouldn't really there wouldn't really be a point to releasing it, honestly. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
no, that's good. That's good. That in and of itself is what I'm hearing from you all is just like, it's the fun for yourself, and then you're sharing it when you can, which makes sense for you. I mean, for Talk Around Riyadh, you guys early on got an interview with Jennifer Chang Garcia. What was the behind the scenes aspect of that? How that all kind of came together? What you're willing to share, I guess, of how that happened? Because I think you were the last group that got an interview for a long time.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think. Sorry, everyone. No, we were just. This is a big secret. We were randomly reaching out to people, and she responded. So that's my big. I just messaged her.
It is, right?
She wrote back. She said she wanted to come on. We were losing our minds. We did the interview, and
well, wait.
that
You
was
forgot.
it. I mean,
you forgot the one part, right? So yeah,
I wasn't going to say that part, but okay.
we had scheduled it, and we took off work for it, and we were like Jen was saying, we were super excited about it and getting all giddy over it, and then she didn't show up, and we got really oh man. We were so upset, and we were like, whatever. But then she reached out to us the next day or later that day and was like, oh, she apologized. She got caught up. It was right. I think it was right around the time that the whole Black Lives Matter thing broke. And it was the internet and social media was blowing up with all kinds of things. And she apologized. She said she got lost in, all the things that were going on. And, we rescheduled, and she showed up, but we got so excited, and we were like, no. Yeah.
You're like, this was gonna happen. No, that was a lot of fun. That was a huge scoop, and like Jen just said, a lot of that's just reaching out, and someone reaches back. I did see this question coming from Uno's eye patch. I wonder if they have any leaked news for season 2 that we're gonna have to wait months for. John, WoTSeries, any interesting, not necessarily leaked news, but any interesting finds that we maybe are coming down the pipe to us eventually?
You guys go ahead and go first.
I love this.
Everyone's eager to talk.
They're like,
maybe some small things.
Some small things.
There's an eye roll there. I think that's Sarah's tell.
That's Sarah's tell. I love it. John,
sorry,
for you,
I have a cat on my lap who's very scratchy.
John, I see Wild Gardenia in chat wants to know like Avienda. Do you happen to know
No,
Avienda?
I know nothing about that at all. Unfortunately, not a single thing. I would love to, but no. Like WoTSeries said, there's a couple of small things, but they're way better at not releasing anything for season 2 than they were for season 1. Way better.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's been a lot harder. Just some of the ways that we found stuff last time is just not really working anymore.
it's quiet. It's quieter out there. I saw this comment. I saw Brando make a comment. This is fine. Brando. Brando said, "Oops, sorry, that was Hybrid Havoc." Brando said, "So why is Matt exempt from these questions? He definitely knows some behind the scenes stuff. We know he's held back, though NDAs probably still prevent him from talking." That's correct. No, but I'll tell you that is true. There's an NDA that prevents me from saying too much. But one story I wanted to tell you was in interviewing some of the cast members, we sometimes would get into conversations that were not directly related to the show, and obviously not relevant to like necessarily share with fans as part of for example, the after show, because we're really trying to be condensed information about what's being shared. But there's one moment I loved so much when I was talking to Daniel Henney. We started. We're closer in age than I am to a lot of the cast, if you will, and we realized that we grew up and we kind of had similar experiences as kids in the things that we liked. He talked about like he's like a huge fan of Neverending Story, Princess Bride, like we talked about like Heman, Castle Grayskull, playing as kids out, I think one of the things he mentioned was like, like tacking 2 branches together and pretending he's like a knight, he mentioned riding his black steed, which was his black lab, and which he apologized to his black lab. So that was like a really fun conversation for me to have, if that makes sense. Like I was like, oh yeah, Transformers, and he's like, yeah, Optimus Prime. So, but again, not one of those things that made the cut, but a really fun, just kind of moment of chatting. If this makes sense, just between 2 people, like not related to the Wheel of Time, we just kind of got geeky about growing up in a similar time and playing with similar toys. I guess it was pretty fun. So there you go, Brando. There's your behind the scenes story from me. But yeah,
you definitely look at least 10 years younger than he does.
Oh wow, that's very nice of you. That's a lie, but that's very nice of you. I like it. The Bard of the Red Hand just said, Daniel. Oh yeah, I gotta post this one. Let's see if I have this comment here. He said Daniel has a video of his He-Man toy collection on his YouTube channel. There you go. So now you know. I'm not making that up. So if you want to go check that out, actually, yeah, he does have a YouTube channel. I don't think he's posted too much to it lately. Yes, I'm seeing comments now from his new name, Laniel. Laniel is one of us. I agree. So I think from there, I thought I would ask you, as far as something that was released, but that you knew, but was released by someone else. So for WoTSeries, was there something that you were aware of, but then eventually somebody else released that information that you can remember? Or John, same thing for you. Is there something that you were like, nah, I'm not touching this, and somewhere else, it came out from some other source?
Recently, we actually knew a number of the castings that Redanian released.
Okay, yeah.
One of them we actually agreed to not say anything about it, but then they released their article, so then it's free game. So that's the first thing that popped into my head, because that was recent.
And WoT Up for you?
A lot of different things, small stuff usually. The camel. So
the camel.
So
the camel.
I had seen the picture of the camel a long time before it got released, and when I saw it, I was like, "This is going to be a thing." People are going to be upset for whatever reason. I know people will be upset about the camel because they're upset about everything, but I was like, "This is going to be Camelgate for sure," and and I was just waiting for someone else to release it, and then when it got released, and I watched Twitter implode about Camel, I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I knew about that before, and everybody was like, so is this real? It can't be real. It's not real. They wouldn't do this. And I'm like, it's totally real. This is awesome.
I love it. I love this idea of John just kind of like waiting for things to just hit fandom that you don't release. I love it. That's good. Now, for those of you that see the call lined up, if you want to call and ask my guests here a question that maybe I'm not asking that you're throwing out in chat, I'd love for you to do that. Give us a call at 1-313-825-5968. That's 1-313-825-5968 or talk WoT. 1 second. Let me write a note to Taylor. And we have one caller online here. I want to answer this question for Katie, and then ask you all. We'll bring that caller in, and then we'll jump back to this topic. Katie said, did you ever get to ask Marcus Rutherford about the Trek stance with the boots that was mentioned at your premiere stream? I did not get to ask him that, but I will tell you a really funny story about the interview that I had with him. They showed this part in the official after show that we did at the interview, so it's not like you've seen this if you've seen that. But at the end of it, I was chatting with him. I was like, hey, this is so awesome. Thanks for doing this. And he's like, no, man. He said something like, my parents watch you all the time or something like that. And I was like, what just happened? I was like, your parents watch this show? He was like, oh yeah, they love it. They love it. And I remember that interview ended, and I like looked over at Taylor, and I was like, Marcus's parents watch us. And for some reason, like, it hit me. And for like the entire week after that, like, I couldn't talk about it at the time. So the entire week I was like, people would say stuff in my house. My wife would say something. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But Marcus's parents watch our show.
but do Daniel Henney's parents watch your show?
I know.
Your show?
I don't know.
They're the
I don't know
greatest
answer.
parents in the world. If you follow them on Twitter.
They are.
I need to find that out. That's
that almost
that's the
seems
question.
like it was like a bit of a burn though when you say that. My parents watch you, like trying to say you're old or something like that.
I'm old. If you're watching right now, I took it in all the right ways. Well, if you happen to be watching us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, you've enjoyed our sneak peek into some of our behind the scenes chat here, what it was like to cover the news over the last 2.5 years. We're going to be digging into this idea of season 1, what we thought we were going to get, and as compared to what we did get. Season 2, I want to get your opinions. We haven't had a chance to all of us kind of talk about this, so I want to do that. So yeah, if you happen to be on Twitch, Twitter, you probably your sneak peek has come to an end. Come join us on Facebook. And like I said, give us a call here. Let's bring our first caller in, and then we'll jump over. What's that, Taylor? Oh, did I say Facebook? On YouTube. Come over and visit us on YouTube. Look, stuff happens. Let's bring our first caller into the show. Hey, welcome to the Dusty Wheel. Who's this?
Hey, this is Jason, also known as Gentle Giant.
Gentle Giant. Jason, how are you doing?
Hey, Jason.
Good.
So,
I
what
was
question?
wondering,
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was wondering, did any of you ever reach out to Amazon and say, is it okay that I release this stuff? Or did you stay away from that because you were afraid they'd say, put legal action on you? Or, I was just kind of curious if there was any interaction with Amazon and if you could talk about it and that kind of stuff.
That's a good question. I see like various reactions here. Reaching out to Amazon about news that you want to talk about or things. Yeah. Does anyone want to jump into this one?
Sure. So to answer that question, unofficially, a lot. And it's just asked people's opinions that I talked to, how it would be taken. So if I release this or if this comes out, how will production take it? How will Amazon take it? Do you think it would be a problem? Officially, yes. And it's always been a no. in every way, shape, and form, it's been a no officially. So unofficially though, I like to get certain people's opinions before I release anything. And if they I tell them all they have veto power. So if they say don't, I don't.
That makes sense. WoTSeries, do you guys end up doing that? Or you, you're talking about your stuff being publicly accessible.
Yeah, in general, we don't really ask Amazon, can we release this? We have, reached out like, hey, we found that this person looks like they're directing. Can you confirm this? We'll reach out maybe to an agent. Hey, can you confirm that your client is appearing as this role in Wheel of Time? But not really a permission situation, just a official comment.
Yeah, that doesn't really come our way. For you guys, Talk Around Riyadh, I know you cover their news.
No.
We just cover everybody else's news. So that
we reach out to John and WoTSeries and say, you okay if we talk about this? This article, this thing that you put out there.
And honestly, like in general, kind of just the type of news that we release is stuff that, again, it's usually publicly accessible. So it's not really the type of thing that you ask about. So
yeah. I did get a very good explanation of what is fair game, what isn't fair game, what they mind and what they don't mind from unofficial people that I talk to, and I try to go by that, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, that does make sense. Gentle Giant, did that suffice there? Do you have another question for them before we let you go?
No, that was my question. I kind of expected that answer, but I was just kind of curious if any of them had like narg-like experiences.
None of us want that kind of experience.
Exactly. Hey, appreciate that, Jason, for calling in, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's a great question. And that, it's from a process standpoint, right? We've now been doing this for 2.5 years. What's this been like? I mean, how much of your life has this taken up? And maybe we'll start up with you, Joe. Like, how much of your time on a weekly basis is dedicated to Wheel of Time?
Oh boy, a lot, too much. Not even just like necessarily for the podcast, just like going on Twitter and just interacting with Twitter Time or on our Discord and interacting with people on our Discord. Yeah. The largest chunk of my time in Wheel of Time takes up is editing the podcast. Probably that takes the longest out of any one aspect of it, I would say.
Jen, how much news are you looking up on a daily basis? Like, how often are you checking social media?
All day long. All day. If I skip a day for some reason and I'm not on, and then I try to go back on, I start getting like anxiety about everything I missed. Like every Discord is lighting up. You're trying to like follow a million different threads. So I mean, I'm always afraid of gonna miss something. And when we look, sometimes you look, there's like 10 notifications, like, oh my God, what happened? You're just like, and everything always happened at like 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, when they were releasing the news, which is like when I have to go pick up my daughter from school. So I'd be like, there's so many times where I'd be like driving and trying to like check my phone at red lights to see what the heck was going on. So yeah, it's not.
Is that how it is for you, Sara? Are you you guys are sleuthing out a lot of details? How often are you like looking into, whatever it is, publicly accessible information about the Wheel of Time, or for that information on a daily or weekly basis?
I'm not sure I want to know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna quote Lane. Lane's listening, and he says, "I don't want to say how much time we've spent," and I kind of echo that.
Oh, come on! People give an approximation.
I feel like the whole routine of scrolling through social media and stuff, that doesn't take too long on the daily, but occasionally I'll just go down a rabbit hole, and next thing I know, I'm like hours into like searching for just this one thing, or trying to find an interior of some castle or whatever in Prague that matches the background of this other person's social media post. Totally not speaking from experiences from this last week. It's just way too much sleep has been lost.
That reminds me of the time where we had seen a snippet of a place or a word that we thought was a location, and it ended in EZ. And so my husband wrote a script that got all of the Czech towns ending in EZ, and we figured out how many letters it should be and went through all of them. And I don't think we ever actually found which one it was.
No, we didn't.
But that was a lot of time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like after I did like the unblurring, I didn't want to really I didn't want to know how much time we had spent, but it was in the tens of hours trying to unblur something. Every time someone else has asked me to unblur anything after that, I literally spend like an hour, and then I feel dread. And I'm like, this can't happen again. This can't happen again. John, how long?
Your mouth and you're like,
I mean, John, you're doing like a couple of videos sometimes per week. How often are you checking email, getting communication from people about some, leaked information, whatever it is?
a couple hours a day on average, I would say. Although I don't consider it work, it's more fun because I'm just talking to people. Usually it's just me talking to people.
Sure.
And then at least once, sometimes twice a week, it's a long time. And I won't say how long, but it's a very long time because the messages pile up over the week, and then I go through all the messages, and 90% of them are just people saying, hey, or what's going on, or I think this, or I think that. And then I chase something and it's nothing, or I chase something else and it's nothing. And like Geekyeri said, it's by the time you realize it's 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, just wasted my day. You know what I mean? Like,
not a waste.
I could have been mowing the lawn or something.
Think of all the fans out there that are grateful for it,
But I mean, it's like you said earlier, I started this as a hobby, basically to not annoy my wife all the time.
Yeah.
And so I like it. It's a lot of fun. It worked out.
Let me throw the Beth's question up for us here. Is there anything y'all knew ahead of time that never got released and was actually different from the end product in season 1? If so, can you share now? Good question. I'm like looking.
Yes.
I'm doing what everybody else is doing. I'm looking at all your eyes. Like I heard Sara said yes. John, do you have something too? Yeah. Is there something that you do know that could be shared, or is still kind of something you don't feel comfortable sharing at this point of that?
Sure, why not? Because this actually has someone posted this, I don't know, a few weeks back, but we had actually seen the pilot script for the first episode.
Oh, gotcha.
Before the episode aired, quite a while before. And there was a lot of stuff that was cut out or different. So that was interesting to just kind of see that. And again, it's out there on the internet floating around it's been uploaded to a bunch of different places now. So if you really want to go find it, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting just from I don't know much about screenwriting perspective. And so it was kind of just seeing the evolution of where it started and where it ended up was just really interesting to me. So yeah, that's the big one that comes to mind.
Anybody else have anyone they want to share before we move on from here?
Vaguely, if that works.
Vaguely works. Yeah, vaguely. Everyone's here. Everyone that's here is here for vaguely at the very least.
So I knew of how things were supposed to go during episode 8. And obviously due to extenuating circumstances and everything that went on, they did not go the way they were supposed to go. But I am aware of how it was originally intended and what was the plan. And I've seen things to that effect. And yeah, that's about as vague as I'll get. But it was glorious.
Oh, John, that's
like
it
was really good. I liked it.
This reminds me of like something that Nerdy Guns just said. Let me see if I can find it. But Nerdy Guns was like, so because again, I look forward to kind of sharing some things that I can't share just yet. But there's this version of what we're doing like a decade from now that will be like, okay, now we can spill it all. But yes, I see people in chat. They're like. I don't know if you just made it worse. Let me ask everybody that. I haven't done a lot of polls today. Did that make it worse knowing that John knows?
It's so funny. I was just talking with my wife about this because she was asking questions about the end, and I was explaining how they had to change things, and the interview with Kieran Donnelly, he talked a little bit about the Tarwin's Gap was they had to rethink that and whatnot. And I was saying how, like, we'll probably never find out what it originally was intended, but somebody here knows.
Yeah, here you go. Here you
You're
go,
gonna be getting
Beth.
a lot of DMs, John.
Thank you,
probably.
WoT Up.
Yeah. I hope I ruined your night, folks.
Michael
That
just
was
said,
my
dude,
intention.
you can't just hint like that. Yes, so
what
this
they
poll is.
what they
yeah,
did was
go ahead.
great. I mean, like what they did was good. It was a little bit different, and obviously, we all know why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. No, it'll be fun to kind of talk through some of these things. Okay, so we're going to transition away from this. I have one more story. I'll kind of open this up. You guys all of you think about something that might have happened. You didn't like maybe explain it to fans when it did, something that you can share. I'll share one of those that I thought was pretty funny. Before it came out that I was going to be the official host of the after show, before that was like public knowledge, we were at the London premiere, and the behind the scenes crew was there, doing stuff, and they asked me to answer some questions, like right in front of a bunch of people, and I gave the most ridiculous answers because I wasn't allowed to say anything about it. so the answers are totally nonsensical. They're like, so how do you feel about this? And I was like, yeah, it's cool. And they were like, what's cool?
This is a thing.
It's cool to be like the innkeeper, I think I said, or something like that. And they were like, you could tell, like, they were like, okay, this is not maybe the right like location for it. It was just a really funny moment for me because I was like, I'm not supposed to say anything about this, and I'm around a ton of people at this. So it was a really funny moment. I walked away like that was the worst. Hopefully they never show that to anybody because it was really bad. It was really bad. But yeah, anyways, that's a little behind the scenes thing that I thought was really funny that happened. But now I can talk about it. So that's fun. Okay, so I don't have anyone in the call queue, so I want to switch over. Oh wait, sorry. Did any of you have anything else you wanted to share before we move on to some of the kind of season 2 news that's come out and discuss kind of your thoughts about season 1 and how excited you are or not about season 2?
I think I've ruined enough people's nights. I'm good.
By the way, about 200 of you voted this. Did that make it worse knowing that John knows? Just about 70% of you said yes so far.
Good job,
Matt,
John.
why don't you re-ask that first poll about who's your favorite news source? And see if the numbers change.
That's true. Well, let's do that. That's a great idea. Okay, let me end this poll. So 69% of you said, yes, John made your life worse by telling you. So yes,
Makes
now
me
let me
happy.
ask you,
Feel the cockles in my heart.
who is your favorite WoT news
Wasn't serious,
source
but okay.
now? Oh, you thought that the show was serious today? What are you talking about? This was get together with some of my friends and talk about the craziness was the last couple years here. We'll do WoTSeries, and then we'll give you all of the above again. For those of you that can't choose, we'll see, John. I think you got 31% by yourself last time. We'll see.
I'm going to get
changed.
1% because I'm voting for myself.
Exactly.
Voting for myself. I'm 0.
So I want to preface this out there. Well, first of all, let's play this one. This one's fun, and then we'll talk about the news that Geekyeri shared, or that was shared on Discord, on my Discord today, that Geekyeri posted on Twitter, I should say. So, okay, I had a chance today to interview Kate Fleetwood, and I have to show you this part because I didn't hear her actually say all of this, and it's a hilarious moment in the interview, and it's just, she's adorable in this moment. Afterwards, after she says this, is Leandrin more concerned about this man's fate, or is she more concerned about her own plans?
I think you have to find out next season, Matthew.
Okay. I guess you'll have to find out next week, Matthew. It's like she said, people afterwards are like, she said Matthew. And I was like, oh my gosh, she did. I had started laughing.
Does anybody call you that except like your mother?
My mom does.
Did you feel like you were in trouble?
I love it.
Well, it was funny because she like waffoed it. She watched and find it. But so I didn't like hear the Matthew because Matthew came later, right? It was like, you'll have to watch and find out. And I'm already laughing because she gave me a watch and find out moment. And then she threw Matthew in. So yeah, a fun moment. If you haven't seen that interview, please go check it out. Also, Black Tower Podcast did an interview with her today also, and they posted that one on the YouTube channel. I just watched that beforehand. That was a lot of fun. So, but yes, she used my full name. They're watch and find out Matthew. That should be like a new thing. I'll have to poll everybody. Is it Matthew or Matt? Is that what you prefer?
Well, you have
watch
to
and find
do it
out.
with the British accent, because that was
I
icing on the cake.
I can't
the way she
affect.
said it.
I have a terrible British accent. It's bad. It's bad. By the way, WoT Up. As much as people were upset at you, they still love you. It seems.
They're just sucking up because they want me to say something.
That's what it is. That's what it is. They
He's
just
not
want you to
falling
talk.
for the trap.
No. I like my life. There's snipers in those woods.
Okay, so
No, I
let's
mean, you
let's.
will.
Oh, sorry. Hey,
I
Kate,
just
one
sorry.
second.
I just thought of something
go
before
for
we
it.
move on.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
we quickly talk about hen news? I feel
Oh,
I see
yeah.
some love for hen
Yes.
news.
Oh,
in the
yes.
chat.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
That was the most important.
maybe explain
news.
to your
Yeah.
let me explain to everybody watching what is hen news.
Okay, so we during the shutdown, during the news break when nothing was happening, I started on our show, instead of news, I said I'll just do like a social media roundup. We called it What's Happening. And I just went through Instagram and Twitter and picked like 4 or 5 stories and just talked about them on our show. So one of the things that I found was Juliet Howland, who plays Natty Cawthon, posted a lot about her hens. So she has hens as pets. She also works with a company called Fresh Start for Hens, who I'm pretty sure is based in the UK, and they rescue hens and rehome them. So she was just constantly posting about the hens, and I just kept bringing it up, and we called it #HenNews, and it just kind of blew up. And I think there was one week where I wasn't on the show, and Rob from Malkier Talks filled in for me, and he shouted out to her, and then she started answering us back and just chatting with us like back and forth online and thanking us for always talking about our hens. And it's just, it kind of blew up and everyone really enjoys it. So I feel pressure every time she puts up a post to make sure I report on what the hens are doing. And now she has one hen that's named Egwene with 2 G's, who is our favorite hen.
Egwene, that's awesome.
And
That's
she's the
awesome.
smartest hen. She always tries to, figure everything out, just like Egwene. But it has taught me a lot about hens. Like, I'm not really a bird lover. I'm actually kind of afraid of birds. But apparently hens are very intelligent and loving, and they make good pets. So if anybody's interested, and we keep asking if anybody does ever adopt a hen, please let us know so we can report on somebody else's hen news.
Nice. Yeah, the hen news is awesome. The cast have been really great about interacting on social media. There's some that
Juliet
have been
Howland
really,
was so
yeah.
nice. Like, she's
Oh,
such a
yeah.
sweet
And then you saw
person.
her in
We
the
were
UK
like,
on
oh
the red
man,
carpet.
she's so
Yeah.
awful on the show.
She broke
I know
my heart.
she's such a beautiful person, and then,
Right.
and then
She needs
and
a
then you
redemption
see,
arc. Redemption
Yeah.
for
Yes.
Natty.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, I did get a chance
Yeah.
to talk to her on the blue carpet, I guess. It's
Mhm,
it's so
the
funny.
blue
Every time I
carpet.
say red
Yeah.
carpet, like my brain's like, you should say blue because it was blue. And so I was like, the red, the blue, whatever. It's a carpet. Yeah, but she was awesome, and she definitely shouted out hen news and you all there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that was
that's that is a fun one. That's a fun thing to have happened this last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do want to jump into a little bit of season 2 news. For those of you that are watching, if you don't want anything from season 2 spoiled, these 5 people are not the ones you should be talking to because they're going to be spoiling your journey all the way to season 2. That's basically what this is. That's why we're all here, is to have fun with all the news that is out there. And some news dropped in our Discord today. And Geekyeri, do you want to? I'll post the link. Do you want to kind of explain where that where this came from?
Sure, I'll do the best I can.
Okay.
This is not from me directly. This is from a person who posted it in Dusty Wheels Discord. Where did it go?
And by the way, I'm going to post this. If you don't want any season 2 spoilers, leave now, I guess, the chat or the show. Don't watch. And we don't know that this is actually true, so this is potential spoilers, but here you go. And I'll show the image and while you kind of explain where this might be from.
Yeah, so it's from Al Rosta, and they said, and I'm quoting here, "So I just completed a survey about TV shows I had heard of / seen, and it turned into an in-depth Wheel of Time survey asking about which storylines I wanted to see more of / less of, what were the most unique aspects, etc. But they showed me a description of season 2. I don't know how much of this is new, but it sort of makes sense." And they shared what you see before you. I basically just cropped their screen capture.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating, and maybe Joe, I'll go to you on this. You've read this, right? Before?
No, I
You've seen this?
haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, geez, here you
No.
go. Okay, like we're like, so yeah,
Surprise.
I'll read it off to anyone that might listen to this later and not be reading the screen. Think about Geekyeri's explanation. It says, Season 1 tested our core characters and their relationships to each other along their journey to the eye of the world. It was a coming-of-age story in the most dramatic of circumstances. Season 2 will focus on the next stage of life, finding a place for yourself within the world. Every one of our characters will find themselves isolated from the others at some point in the season and forced to reckon with the darkest sides of themselves. While Season 1 of The Wheel of Time traversed geographic locations, Season 2 will be more grounded in unique locations for longer stretches of time. Following after Rand hiding in the cosmopolitan city of Falma as he tries to fight off madness, unpacking Moraine's life before she became the woman we have grown to know, and watching Egwene and Nynaeve traverse being novices within the politics of the White Tower. Season 2 introduces viewers to the Shan-Chan, who appeared in their ships in the final scene of Season 1. A group of people who are descendants of Arthur Hawkwing, the last man who challenged the female supremacy of the Aes Sedai. These followers have been instructed by their fallen Hawkwing to reclaim their fatherland and burn the White Tower to the ground. The Shan-Chan tear through resistance they encounter via leashed female channelers as weapons of war. Throughout the season, we will see all of our characters make their way to the first major city of the Shan-Chan capture, leading up to what could only be a great battle. So, first of all, I want to ask you, do you think this is legit? As in, does this seem to you, because, right, like, we didn't take the survey apparently, right? Not that I've heard. And so I'm kind of curious, John, do you feel like this is something actually telling us about what Season 2 is going to be like?
So there were things like this that came out for Season 1 long prior to the show airing. And most of them ended up being legit. I'm not saying this one is particularly. However, it reads like most of us expect the second season to go, if that makes any sense. So either we're all right or someone is playing a massive prank on everyone.
Oh, they could be.
It
Like,
also
yeah.
just has enough like surprising
just
stuff,
enough, yeah.
like Rand
Just
going
enough.
to Falma and calling Falma cosmopolitan and things like that actually make me more inclined to believe it, because it sounds like a change that could have conceivably been made for the show.
And the other thing that I noticed there, where it said fatherland, it almost seemed to use language to make the Shan-Chan more like the male adversaries than against the, you know what I mean? Like, that makes any sense. Sort of in conflict with what happened in the first season. So that again gives it points to credibility in my opinion.
Okay, so let me end this poll that we have. Over 200 of you voted on this. Who's your favorite WoT news source now? Talk around Riyadh, 11%. I think that's up.
Yeah.
WoT Up, 30%. So that's down by 1%. WoTSeries, 18%, and 41% all of the above. So I feel like Talk around Riyadh, you picked up some new favorite people out there. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody now if you believe that this is a real. I want to ask our audience here once this system lets me. Everyone wants more polls. I know today hasn't been full of polls today. Do you believe this is a real description of what happens in Season 2? I was going to say that. Cosmopolitan was an interesting word. Like, I don't know why that word sticks with me the most, but that's the one that kind of like...
It's just like not something I could see anybody making up, which is why it stood out to me.
But it almost sounds like so absurd that like
it sounds like someone could have used like thesaurus.com though and tried to find out a word to put in there.
I need a $5 word to make this sound believable.
It was interesting. The interesting thing that I took away from that is they said that it was the characters were going to be more stationary in this season, which is like very opposite of the Great Hunt or the Dragon Reborn, where both of those books are just more traveling. And that's the entire story. So that I thought that was interesting. And I don't know. It's hard for me to say at this point.
Whoever Al Rosta is, I don't know if Rosta is, like I'm reading it Rosta, so it's Rasta. It's like we're being roasted. So that's like, but yeah, I don't know who this person is, and they're not trying to impugn them as individuals, their integrity. I just don't know who this person is and where this comes from. But it is a fun thing to play with at the very least, right? This is that rumors that appeal side of things that I like about Wheel of Time fandom, because it seems strange to think that Rand would go to Falma and like hide in Falma, but maybe Geekyeri, do you how do you feel about this as like a real indicator of what's coming in season 2?
I think, I mean, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, of course, but I think there's enough in there that would not have been written by any book reader that weirdly makes me think that there's a grain of truth in it. Right? I feel like if people who are familiar with the books were going to make something up, they wouldn't have made up some of these things.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And I'll look at it closer, I think, later as far as, just kind of comparing what we think is going to happen here. I mean, there's
sorry, I have to go.
Oh, yeah, no, Geekyeri, thank you very much for being with us. It was awesome having you here. Everyone say goodbye to Geekyeri. It was awesome
Bye,
seeing
Geekyeri.
you, if you will. Talk to you soon, okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. No, yeah, I am kind of curious what ends up. I'm sure we'll all go through this, right? We'll be like, after we get the season or as more news drops. Like, there's not too much more here, right? Which is, it's basically saying we already thought Egwene and Nynaeve were going to go to the White Tower. Mm-hmm. That's there. We already assumed Moraine, they're giving Moraine some type of story, if you will. And we're already assuming that Rand is... That's like, to me, the Rand part is probably the most like specific of a thing that's happening, because it doesn't say anything about Matt or Perrin here. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
yeah,
but I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say that how it randomly doesn't mention Matt or Perrin at all. Like, what are they even doing? Like, aren't we supposed to care about them too?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
They've
it's
cut
a weird
both
one.
characters from the show. You heard it here first.
Done.
I mean,
they are done.
They're not on the show anymore.
Start a new rumor.
It wouldn't really wouldn't affect the show based on the last episode we saw. So.
Nice. Yeah. And Bane and Chia just said, and this is true today, if you didn't see this also, I'll post this on the screen for those that are watching here. Let's see if I get that. Silvertooth said Kai Alexander did a Q&A on Instagram and said we're going to see a lot more Min in season 2. So that's something
makes sense.
to note.
That makes sense. And it makes me happy.
Yeah, for anyone that was kind of curious, we are going to see
so that's
more of them,
thing that you put up the same. You mentioned Rand struggling with his dark side. Is that, did I remember that correctly?
It said all of them, I think, right? It said
it's talking all of them. Although I feel like Rafe said that recently. I thought like Rafe said something where he's like, yeah, we're going to, like Rafe mentioned something like that about, and
we know Celine is
the darkest side. The darker
we know
side.
Celine is 100% there and has been basically filming for a while. So his storyline intertwines with hers. So maybe, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna get that. That sounds like the darkest side. It makes me think of Matt and the dagger and Perrin with the wolves. So I think this all makes sense. You're right. The weird part is Rand going to Falma, and like, if this almost seems like they're just doing those book 2 or the majority of book 2, which I don't know for some reason doesn't track to me.
Well, they're not bringing up Kyrian here. We know we're going to get Barthanes, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he'll be there, though.
I know.
Yeah.
They could move him.
Barthanes is in Falma.
Yeah, they could move a lot
Just
of the action to
possible.
Falma. That's possible.
Or they could just have like
possible.
his manor house and it's like outside Kyrian, but we don't ever actually go into the city.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I did a theory video where I thought the Seanchan would bring Kalendor to Falma, so we wouldn't have to go to Tyr at all. and you could cut out a full Forsaken, that whole storyline, you wouldn't have to fight, you know what I mean? That would be all done. And as crazy as that sounds, it's doable.
No, you could. No, it's true. I will agree with that it definitely could be something they do. And maybe that's what this thing is saying. We'll find out if it's true, which is they're limiting the number of kind of places people are going, because you can obviously go to White Tower and you could use portal stones. So they can introduce portal stones here and have people travel quicker, and you have White Tower, Falma, and maybe some kind of like just segues here and there. But
I heard a rumor that Kalendor is going to be buried under the chair in Falma, and they're just going to continuously have things buried under chairs in different cities.
So what's buried under the Omerlin seat? Time for conspiracies.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
The Choden Call.
You've just brought up an amazing episode we need to do. Is like we need to have a roast of season 1 of the Wheel of
Where
Time.
things buried.
We need to have a Wheel of Time roast, but like, who would be the person that would speak for the Wheel of Time? I don't know, but we have to roast.
See if you can get Rafe to come on, and we'll just roast Rafe.
We'll roast Rafe. I want to. If you
Oh
can
my
get that to
gosh.
happen, I want to be here. I want to be part of this roast.
It's that would be amazing.
It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun.
That would be amazing. Yeah, we have to do it because what you just said is so good. Calendar, if it is, Joe, would you stop watching if that happened?
No, I think it was awesome that I called it. I actually, it's so funny because when we were watching that and that episode, I was watching it with my wife, and that scene happened. Like when they're like, he's like, you know what you have to do, and they're all like, yes, and I'm like, oh, what is he talking about? And then they move the chair off of it, and I'm like, oh my God, the Horn of Valir is going to be buried under there. Like I thought of it right in my head. I was like, oh my God, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, yes.
It was all your fault. That's basically what you're saying. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find Kai Alexander's stories here because people are bringing up other answers that she gave. Let me see if I can find this one. There was one that said, "Oh yeah, so this is a fun one." So Kai is currently reading The Great Hunt, which is awesome. So that's fun. I know a lot of us are kind of curious, like, are they actually taking part in this? I love that Kai, I think she said twice that, I'm trying to see where it's at. There it is. Asking about how she would handle like having Min's abilities, and she says like, I get scared seeing my own shadow, so no thanks. That's a couple of them have been doing an AMAs recently on Instagram. So if you're following or not following, you should be if you want to take part in those. And they've been answering kind of questions. I think I got a question in there with Hamed yesterday. It was just
Yeah, I did too. I asked him if he's excited to see Loyal put a long handle on Zax, and he's like, spoilers. I was like, I ruined it for everyone. Thank you.
I do love this comment from Nablus, who's in chat here. Nablus, good to see you, man. He said about roasting, laugh out loud. I mean, aren't most of our reviews roasts? Wow, that was like double. That was a good shade there. Okay, I got to end this poll. Do you believe this is a real description of what happens in episode 2? If you don't know what we're talking about, just as a reminder, this was supposedly, I think it was part of a Geekyeri explained that Al Rasta said that this was like a survey of, kind of reactions to season 1. That this was like kind of something that came out at the end of that survey. I have to go find exact details on it. You can check out our Discord if you want to go speak with this user over on our Discord. The link's in the description about this. But yeah, that's kind of how interesting. 200 of you voted on this. Do you believe it's a real description? 69% of you said yes. 31% of you said no. So yeah, that makes sense.
And one other little comment on that I had that I'm not sure if Ari covered or not, but that Al Rosta also mentioned that the survey was specifically asking about advertising and marketing and what leading up to season 1, like, they resonated with the most and stuff.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel even more like this is legit because it reads like something that a PR team would write.
Yeah. And not necessarily revealing. I did see a comment like this in chat, like maybe this is like a portion of the, you know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't really give away much. Honestly, if you read it, it's like,
no, it
okay,
really doesn't.
Especially if you don't know the books, you're like, so Rand goes to a city and the Shan-Chan, it gives some kind of idea about who the
they do
Shan-Chan
some
are.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they do some stuff, and Nynaeve and Egwene end up at the White Tower. Well, that's not really spoilers. So yeah, it would not be surprise me if this was completely legit and it like is only explaining a portion of what's going to happen, and just to kind of whet the appetite of people that maybe answered their survey. So yeah, that's fun.
Survey.
Now everyone's gonna go on to Discord and ask this user like, where did you get this survey? And they're just
Send
gonna
me
go like refresh
screenshots.
it. Yeah, right. Okay, so final questions for the 4 of you. Just overall reactions. You spent the last 2 years of your life, if not more, talking about and covering the Wheel of Time. Are you planning on spending just as much time, if not more, covering season 2 moving forward? And Joe and Jen, for Talk Around Riyadh, any changes, any additions to what you're currently doing, or just same old kind of Talk Around Riyadh we have expected at this point every Friday night? Is that how fans can follow what you're doing?
That's a tough question. Sarah kind of answered that question a little earlier with talking about how like there's much tighter, I guess, reins on the news and what's been leaked, so there's not as much going around to cover. So it's but we have, thankfully we have a lot of experience at stretching one little sentence into an hour worth of conversation. So that's good. Right now we're reviewing. So a while back before the show aired, we kind of did our episode breakdown predictions. So we each wrote what we thought was going to happen in every episode. And we're going back and looking at those right now and just seeing how right or wrong we were. It's actually pretty eerie how close we did the first 4 episodes already, and it's kind of eerie how close we were with a lot of that. But things have started as the episodes have progressed. We've kind of gone off and off. So it'll be interesting with our next episode talking about like episodes 5 and 6, which basically like 80% of the stuff in the show didn't happen in the books.
Yeah, that's definitely an analysis that I'm looking forward to doing. There's so much to talk about from the last season, but it's almost, we've all been talking about things looking forward. Sometimes it's hard for me. It's like season 1, no, I want some season 2 news. I want to talk about season 2.
We still plan on talking about season 1 a little bit more, but then there's a lot from season 2. Even if we don't get news, we still have we'll talk about the Shanshin. We'll talk about new castings get confirmed. Then we do like an episode on that character, and we'll have much less time between season 1 and season 2, hopefully. So I think we'll be good. But yeah, we're definitely still every Friday night.
We will have 2 years.
Friday night is when we do our live show for patrons, but the episodes drop on Mondays usually.
Yeah.
And can I just say, it's still just super surreal to me that we're past season 1 now after all the time that we've spent.
I know, it's weird.
It hasn't quite sunk in yet, but it's great.
It's strange. Yeah, John, do you have different plans of how you plan to cover this, or just more of the same, or even more of what we more
of the same? I mean, like we've been saying that they've tightened security quite a bit. People aren't talking near as much. There's not as many leaks, but that isn't to say that after filming ends that there won't be stuff, because filming ends soon. Same thing. Cover the news, talk about the show, talk about season 1, reanalyze, talk about the future. It's going to be more of the same for me. I mean, it works. I'm not going to fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. It sounds like all of you are planning that. I mean, WoTSeries, I'm assuming, just will keep on looking for publicly accessible information.
Pretty much.
I love that you do that. Your secrets, hopefully one day when this is all over, we can get like a live stream and you talk about the details of how you go about finding this information. I forgot to ask this when Geekyeri was on. I want to ask this. You don't have to reveal it if you don't want to, but I'm going to ask you the following question, and then I'm going to ask you to answer it, which is, how many total social media accounts do you have as an individual across, let's say, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? And I'm going to say less than 10, between 10 and 20, more than 20. And do you feel comfortable answering that you personally check and run? Yep.
Not like that I'm following. Right?
Not that you're following.
Okay, because that would be.
These are the accounts that you're running. The total number of Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts together that you're running. Which of you has less than 10?
Oh, I do, for sure.
Less than 10.
I know the attention span for more than 10.
I didn't have a Twitter or Instagram account until I started doing this podcast. So
wow.
I didn't use Twitter.
I thought for some reason you guys were going to have all sorts of tons of accounts out there.
I mean, I have
my daughter made me give Instagram.
Separate social media accounts that I use for following show-related people that I don't want other people to find.
But not that many. Okay.
But I don't have dozens of them. I mean, I don't know that's just too many to handle. One or two is plenty. So.
Okay. So yeah, I was thinking of maybe you had all sorts of different different.
I had Facebook prior to making the channel. My daughter's like, people don't use Facebook, Dad. You have to do something different.
I mean, the person
And
you
now
really
they're
want
like-
to ask. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying the person you really want to ask is Omar about how many accounts did he have.
that's the person we're missing. I know we are missing a couple of. We thought there would be like maybe 9 of us here tonight. We're gonna do a little Brady Bunch kind of formation on the screen here. We'll have to just say that for another time. But yeah, Omar, I have to follow up with Omar now and find out. That's a great question. Anash just said, "Wait, how many does the Dusty Wheel have?" That I check. Probably. I only check like 3 or 4. That's your answer. I have more than 3 or 4. I just don't have time to check them. So that's kind of where I wanted to take us here. Hopes for season 2 here for you, Jen. Where did you end up with season 1? How did you rate that, and where's your hope at, I guess, for season 2?
I liked it. I think out of 5, I don't know if I gave it. I think my average was like a 3.9 or something. I think our whole show average was like around a 4.
Jen, you gave it a 4.13 overall.
4.13.
So it was pretty good.
That is very specific.
We were rating each episode. Yeah. That's the average of all the episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still I'm going in Matt withdrawal. I'm just sad that he couldn't be in those last 2 episodes. Not Barney, but like even John saying he knows what happened, like that, it like eats at my heart, because it would have been so much better if he was there and he was able to. I can imagine what he would have been doing if he was there. So, yeah. But overall, I'm excited about season 2. I'm excited about seeing what they can do without all the stoppages, without hopefully all the COVID restrictions. Kind of maybe were a little looser this time around, and they had, more people could gather in a room, and because it felt like some of those scenes were just like, well, we'll just use 2 people instead of 100, for certain scenes. So yeah. I'm hoping that I like to see what they can do now without the excuses of COVID and losing a cast member for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I feel like 4.13. Joe, what was yours at? I love it. It's like 4.275.
No, 3.97 was my out of 5 was my rating.
Okay.
I
love how it's so specific. It's so great.
We rated every episode review. We all gave it a rating out of 5 stars. So that was our
friend, our friend Brendan, who was on our spoiler-free episodes, talking about the show, set up this chart for us and calculated
awesome.
it.
No, he actually gave it the lowest out of all of us. By the way, he's a non-reader. So I hope I do have a lot of hopes. Like I said, like Jen said, without the constraints of COVID, or hopefully less constraints of COVID, we haven't heard of any shutdowns at all. But who knows if that's still affecting the production, though, because obviously Omicron's out there and spreading like wildfire. But yeah, I think without having to lose one of your characters, I kind of. As we were watching the episodes, I kind of realized, and Ray said this a lot of times, and it kind of didn't click with me until probably watching maybe, at least half the episodes, or even almost all the episodes, about how he's not adapting. He wasn't adapting the Eye of the World. He's adapting the entire series. So they need to really think about how they're going to, where they're going to go with the show and how they're going to get there. And to do that, they're going to have to cut a lot of stuff and change things to make things make more sense. Yeah. So I kind of get why they did a lot of the changes. There are weird things that they made changes of, and I don't get it, and I don't think there was a really good reason behind it. It was just something they changed, and maybe they didn't think it through or whatnot. But I think with season 2, I think it's going to be tighter. I think we're going to get a lot more focus on and we're going to get world building. So it's going to expand, but I think it's going to be a lot more focused and concise with what they're doing and how they're getting there. And I want to see, they did that awesome cold opening to episode 7, which was an amazing fight choreographed sequence.
You want everyone that good?
I want to see that. Like, we didn't see Lan fight anybody after, I think he did like one small battle in the Logain scene in episode 4, and there wasn't really much there. Like, I want to see that with I want to see more of that.
Yeah, no, it
I'm
makes sense.
hoping.
John, for you, do you think we're going to hew closer, further away, or about the same for season 2 when it comes to, events that happen in the book versus events that happen in the show?
I think probably about the same. I think it'll still be Wheel of Time light, I guess is the best way to put it. Like we're getting the world, but we're not getting the books. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see very different storylines set in some of the same settings that we see in the book. And like Joe said, what I'm really hoping for is realistically going into the season for season 1, the cold open for episode 7, I wanted that whole season to be that. And I don't mean the fight scene, specifically fighting the whole time. I mean the level of cinematography, the level of acting, the level of everything. That set the bar for me for everything for season 1, and nothing came close to it in the rest of the full season. Not even remotely close. And I'm hoping, and I know that season 2, the only improvements I think we're going to see, based on feedback from the fandom, the book readers, the non-book readers, everyone else, is the VFX, because it was already written and started filming before season 1 released. Like they were already in the process of, so they're not going to change things then, but they did up the VFX budget, which was a major complaint from a lot of people because they didn't have the money for it. And so I think we'll see something very similar to season 1 and season 2. But season 3, I think, will be vastly different in my opinion. That's at least my hope anyway.
Yeah, and finally to you, Sarah, what's kind of your hope or thoughts here about season 1 to season 2? We have hopefully a year, I would imagine, or a little bit under a year to kind of wait, if you will. Where are you at?
Yeah, kind of about what everyone else has said. I mean, overall I enjoyed season 1. I think we're all kind of in the similar boat there. I actually, weirdly, I think that my rating for a couple of episodes dropped after I saw the whole season, because I thought things might pay off and then they ended up not. And anyway, but I still enjoyed the season a lot. And I think that, like John was saying, we can't really expect to see any kind of fan reaction taken into account in terms of writing and things like that have already been long since done. But season 3, I think potentially we could see more of that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, how much do we think they should listen to fans? Because there's a whole lot of fans and they can't possibly listen to everybody. And Wheel of Time fans are nothing if not opinionated. So
that's true.
No.
By the way, I want to say this to everybody here. I tried to get as many secrets out of these people as I could, but it looks like you might have to wait even longer to pull them all out here. I want to end this poll. Will a named character who doesn't die in the books die in season 2? 75% of almost 200 of you think that is the case. Jessica Sadai, thank you very much. Some appreciation. Thank you for the tip for all the great sleuthing. Yes, thank you for all the great sleuthing that you all do. And thank you for, continuing to make this enjoyable. I think I've said this recently. This has been the most fun part for me, which is all the build up, all the stuff around the actual episodes themselves, right? Just my experience over the last 2.5 years is just, I've loved interacting with the fans, meeting you all those you show up and chat. This is my favorite part of what has happened over the last 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't like the show. I do. It's just, that's 8 hours of entertainment, and we've all hung out for and been entertained by each other and each, on social media and on YouTube and everywhere for hundreds of hours over the last 2.5 years. So
I legitimately don't think I could have gotten through the whole pandemic thing without this whole awesome online community, because it's just been really great.
Yeah.
I'll sign that one.
Right. It's made it so much fun. Thanks, Storm, Fairy Wolf, for your tip. And William, I missed one that you dropped in earlier, but thank you very much. William called out everybody to like this video. I don't ever remember to say that during my videos. It's always like, oh yeah, I probably should have invited people to like this, but I like this comment.
It's funny,
from
so I
William.
didn't like it yet.
Many thanks to the 13
There we
people who
go.
liked the video after my message. You rock. That's right. So please like this video on the way out. This was a lot of fun for me, just cathartic to talk about the process from the last 2.5 years and be able to share a couple of stories that I was holding on to. There are more stories, and as we're able to talk about them, I'm sure we will. And now you know, everybody, that fans are holding on to your precious news and not giving it to you. No.
Go after John. Everybody, John just put a target on his head, so everybody look at him, not anywhere else.
This big shiny head right here.
Yes, no, I appreciate all the work you do and so many other content creators and just fans out there making this enjoyable. I go on Twitter all the time. I just scroll through Twitter and there's just so many fun fans doing ridiculously fun stuff, like Rational Nerd, who is in chat right now, has done some statistics work that we covered in a recent podcast episode and talked about it in the last episode we did here. You should go check those out. I think the link I can put in this video also. But that's it, everybody. Look at that. We're like stopping strangely right at the mark. We never stop at 8:30. So this will be our first time. Thank you and Geekyeri for also being here tonight. And like I said, we may have an episode Sunday. Keep a lookout, or we'll be back here on Wednesday. We'll start digging into maybe the Wheel of Time again, you know, the books that we read, and then we'll dig into season 1. I have to figure out what it is that's I'm most excited about kind of digging into. So we'll let you know soon. Maybe we'll do one of those announcement episodes where I tell you what's happening 8 weeks in advance that I used to do. that I got out of doing. Like I don't know how I just lost time. Just did not have enough time.
You were busy doing some other things, you know, with the show out a year.
It got busy for a little bit. So I need to get back into shape here and actually announce 4 to 8 weeks of shows coming up. So thanks everybody. As we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel and smash to black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're already. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the 2 rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
sad. I see Lukumi as something along the lines of a Shadar Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge.
Terrible, like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
this
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
In
elements.
just a moment.
Big no.
Come back. I forgot to give away a mug. Hold on. Oh yeah, mug. Okay, we're back, everybody. Is there anybody still here? I forgot to give away a mug.
You win the mug.
I forgot to give away a mug. Okay.
Oh my god.
So Taylor, I just saw that note that I didn't give away a mug from my admin. So if you're still here and you're in chat with us, you have fewer people. See, if you just left thinking the show was over, that's not on me, right?
It's an encore,
yeah. So Taylor, throw a mug in, Taylor.
Remember encores, Jim? Remember doing encores?
By the way, I love comments from people like
I'm looking for a lighter.
We've gotten people so used to this that they literally wait until like you get the final till the credits end and they don't leave. By the way, Anas said
all the Marvel fans are.
Anas said this is classic. No one left. Hold on, don't be putting iRaffle in yet. Is it? Oh, is it? Is it collecting? Oh, okay. Yeah, you can put iRaffle in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yes, do it. Join. Oh my gosh. Look, what happens is after an hour and a half, I forget about the mug giveaway. So if you're back and you're wondering what's going on, it's we made fun of John for just like a minute, and while we were waiting for this to end. And then
John told us the entire plot of season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
John shared
and everything that happened originally in episode 8. They all
shared
the
script.
Yeah, John shared that. So sorry.
Oh, so good. So good.
Take that, suckers.
So good.
Did you
Green
leave?
Man. That Green Man was
There's the poll. I love that idea. I just asked that. Did you leave? You know.
Did you leave? Yes.
Yes,
And my
all
shirt
those
off
people
and
that
everything.
left.
I was gone.
Yes.
The reason why you're back is we are raffling off a mug that I forgot to. Every Wednesday night we do it, and then I forget, and so you're back for that. And now we're kind of trolling you and teasing you and doing nonsensical polls.
You need to set a mug alarm, Matt.
It
so,
wouldn't
like, when
be
the
a
show
dusty
starts.
wheel without a nonsense poll.
Exactly. This is exactly. I love it. Oh, there's some kind people in chat. I've seen this for a couple. Like, you know, like they already won one, so maybe they're not entering. Check that out. Although then I also saw the comment like I won one, and if I get one, maybe I'll give that one away. So. And then there's like plenty of people that maybe won one already and already entered and are feeling really weird now that I've called them out. It's like
They want the whole collection of
wait,
mugs.
I can, yeah, this
Coffee
one right
mug.
here,
Yeah,
the
you got
Dusty Steve Show. There's not many of these out there, and if you have
Steve,
no
John,
idea what the Dusty
Do you know
Steve Show
anything about
means,
Steve?
oh, that's a good
Does
question.
anyone
I know he
know
likes
about
gummy
Steve?
bears.
What?
I know he likes gummy bears.
No, I know nothing about Steve, though, unfortunately.
I'm still salty about that. Even my husband was invested in Steve, and he never got to find out. And he
They
was
need to
devastated.
release something about Steve.
Yes.
They got to do
Yeah.
it. It's no harm at this point, right?
Blink if
might
you
be,
know
though.
anything
You never
about
know.
Blink if you know anything about
That's true.
Steve. Oh, see, John blinked. John knows something.
Yeah.
Maybe
I guess something on my eye. No.
Maybe Steve and Barney Harris got in a physical fight on set, and that's why they're both were thrown off.
By the way, see,
Over
only
gummy
9%.
bears.
There's only like 100 people
Over
voting,
gummy
so
bears.
people left at this point. I love that. Did you leave? 9% of you did, but you're back. You got a chance. Okay, Taylor, why don't you come in and give us our mug winner? By the way, when I when I saw the note, I was like, let's go back. Taylor kind of gave me one of these like. Taylor, you coming? No, Taylor's not coming back. Everybody,
Bye, Taylor.
Bye.
come back, Taylor. Look, I'm waiting to hear him. Oh, did
We lost Jen.
Jen had to leave.
Jen.
Jen's gone. You want to come end our poll up here and pick a mug?
She
for
was
us?
very angry over the mug issue. She was just done.
Exactly. Okay, Taylor, go end that and let's. I know. It's because everyone's gone. So you have great chances to get into the raffle and actually win one tonight because. Oh, Jen's back.
I'm back.
Jen, welcome back. Okay.
Sorry.
Let's pick our winner, Taylor. The winner of tonight's mug is. Congratulations, J-Mad. J-Mad is our winner tonight. J-Mad, are you here? You have won yourself a Dusty Wheel mug. I need to have like a cool like script that I can say. Did Jen leave again?
Yeah.
Like, you have won yourself.
She came back. She was mad she didn't win. She
Yeah, I
You
didn't
have won
win.
yourself. Oh, I see.
Screw you guys. I'm done.
Come on, she's back again. You have won
J-Mad.
yourself
Come on, Nene.
a Dusty Wheel mug. J-Mad, go check us out on Discord or on social media to reach out to us. Let us know you are the winner tonight, and we will make sure that gets ordered sometime in the next 8 weeks. I just have to tell people, like, they're always, sometimes they'll write, and I'll be like, there hasn't been a sale. I haven't ordered them yet. So like sometimes I batch order like 30 mugs at the same time because like if a sale doesn't show up, it doesn't show up. Did anyone see like J-Mad show up and actually you'd think that they would have stuck around for 5 minutes if they entered the poll?
Yes, I thought I saw.
Did they
them. Hold
reply?
on.
Did they reply that they won?
There's too many
Okay.
people talking. Stop talking.
Yeah, stop talking. Oh, and so our answer for
chat.
poll, and this 10% of you did leave. Well, now you've learned. Never
J-Mad
leave
was one of
until J-Mad somehow J-Mad like, oh, there he is. Or there they are. J-Mad, congratulations. Reach out to us on Discord or social media and we'll figure out, we'll get you a mug. So congratulations. Okay, that's it, everybody. That's what we came back for. Thank you very much for sticking around extra time. We will not be back after this, I promise you. But maybe you should still stick around.
Or will we?
Or will we? That's it, everybody. A good night from the Dusty Wheel once again.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Terrible, like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guest in here with me. And
probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,